I'm good. How are you?
I am good, thank you. You are looking so stunning today.
Well, that is a miracle because it's the middle of the night here
Oh, okay.
in New York. So,
Thank you. So yes,
how are
Maureen,
things going?
yeah. So before we start your presentation, so our co-host Shruti will introduce to the audience who you are. So yes, Shruti, are you ready to
Yes,
introduce
I
Maureen
am.
on the
Of
stage?
course, I'm really excited to wake her up at the midnight and introduce her. Yeah, sorry about the timings. So let me give our audience a quick introduction about Maureen. So let me give some details about you. Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker and the phenomenal Maureen Falvey. With over 25 years of dynamic business leadership, Maureen has left an incredible mark partnering with blue chip clients such as Procter and Gamble, General Mills, Burger King, and United Airlines at the top 10 global advertising agencies. Wow, that's a huge one. Today, Maureen is not only an executive coach, but also a distinguished author, speaker, and activator. Having designed numerous mentoring and training and leadership programs, she imparts her wisdom on living and working with purpose. Maureen believes in the transformative power of international living, asserting that life and the work can yield an unprecedented joy and fulfillment when approached with well-crafted plan. Maureen is a certified disc practitioner, an Amazon best-selling author, and an avid podcaster on leadership and potential. Please join me in extending a warm welcome with the inspiring Maureen Falvey. Wow, that's a
Thank you so much,
huge.
Miranda.
I mean, lots of achievements. I have seen that. Okay, yeah, we can't wait for your, inspiring speech.
Wonderful. Thank you. And welcome to all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on where you are. I am zooming in from New York City. So just a beat away from the rest of you. We're all together here in service of empowering women. And I cannot think of a more powerful way to do that. I'm going to share just a screen here. Than to look at how we're spending our time. And I was in advertising for many, many years. And when I put the screen up, I can't see your faces, so I will certainly come back to you. But I moved into coaching and training because I want to work with women like you to help you live and work on purpose instead of by accident. And I see that many of us, when we say to someone, "How are you doing?" our answer is busy. And I want you to have a better answer than that. At the very least, I want you to say, I am busy doing what I love. And so here I am, Maureen. I am now a coach, a trainer, and a speaker in service of unleashing the power of women. And just as I said, this is how most of us answer this question. How are you doing? I'm very busy, right? And it makes me sad when I hear that because it's as if the time thieves have stolen our day. And I want you to have a better answer. Now, Beyonce, you're in good company, by the way, if you're busy. She says, time is my biggest obstacle. But you know what? What if it isn't? Time, for many of us, we will say this is our biggest obstacle. If we are measuring our time in hours, not impact, if we are letting the time thieves take our day, and if we cannot yet learn how to master the art of the unapologetic no. And you're going to learn that today. Just a few quick beats on how we're going to do that, because the reality is I can't give you a 25th hour in the day. We have 24. Time is set, but the thing that you can manage, and this is what we're going to focus on, is yourself. These things are out of control. 24 hours in the day. That's it. What other people think and feel and do, other people's boundaries. But the things that are in your control is our focus for today. What are your habits, your beliefs about time? Do you have an abundance mindset? Do you have enough? Or do you feel depleted? So we're going to talk about the things in your control by looking at the key drivers of time. Priorities. What are yours? What's important now? Productivity. Many of us are multitasking, or we're addicted to this thing. And then we're going to look at procrastination, because many of us just get stuck. And I want you to be able to move to the other side of that, so you have an abundance of time. When you think about your priorities, do you know what they are? This wonderful TED speaker talks to us about the fact that if I asked you, could you find 7 hours during the week to train for a marathon? You would probably say, no, I don't have 7 hours to do that. But if you had a broken water heater and it took 7 hours to fix it, you'd find time for that because your home is flooded. So what if we treated our priorities like that broken water heater? Right? Because if you're saying, I don't have time, let's get honest. What you're really saying is it's not a priority. I have a client who said to me recently, I love this. He said, Maureen, I've changed. I'm a different person now. And I'm going to give you his quote. He said, I've broken free from the constant stream of fake urgency. It's very easy all day long to pay attention to the bells and the whistles and the urgencies, the seemingly urgent. But I want you to focus on what's important. And there's a great tool for that called the Eisenhower box. If you look at what's not important and important in your life and at work, and what's urgent and not urgent, you can very quickly start to map out what your day should look like. So the urgency is the broken water heater. You do need to pay attention to that now. But it's the not urgent and important things, your health, your well-being, time for self-care, for advanced planning. These are things you need to schedule and put in your calendar and move everything else aside. And then just as an FYI, there are also things that might be urgent, but that doesn't mean you need to do them. Maybe you can delegate them to someone else. And finally, I get real curious about what you can delete. What are things that are not urgent and not important, such as your worry, your swirling thoughts, wondering whether or not you're good enough? These are things that are absolutely not worth your time. So we're going to delete them. Right? But right now I want to look at decide. Right? Which is, for just a moment, think about one thing. What's important now? How can you win? What's important now? Decide one thing. If it's the only thing you did today, it would make your day and perhaps even your life more fulfilling. And then once you've identified that, look at your calendar, see if you can cross something else out and make time for it. Right? So decide that one thing. And then once you have it, we'll play with it a little further. How can you be incredibly productive? Not measure your time in hours, but in impact. Because if you did 10 things that aren't important during the day, right, that isn't necessarily productive. If you do the single thing that's most important, that's a great day because busy isn't your job. How are you? I'm busy. That's not your job. Value creation is. So I love this concept from this book, Essentialism. It suggests that a CEO is actually a chief editing officer, and that what we cut is of supreme importance in having a great life. And so I think about this all the time. What can you cut? And essentialists believe three things. Less but better. If you're trying to cram it all in, right? That's not really what I want for you. I want you to choose the one beautiful thing. At one point in advertising, I worked on a cookie account and I gained 10 pounds. And my friend said to me, Maureen, why would you eat these crumbly, stale store-bought cookies when you could have one savory macaroon, right? Less but better. What is your delicious savory macaroon? That less but better. So we look at cutting from Edward Scissorhands here. What can you cut in this lower right box in order to make time for that which is most important? Right? So what can you delete? And it's worth a minute of your time to think about that. What is coming into my day that doesn't belong? How can I be a chief editing officer and move those things, whether it's my worry or someone else who's asked me to do something and I don't know how to say no? We're going to talk about that. The second thing that essentialists believe is I can do both is false logic. Not well, you can't. And so many of us believe that we are multitaskers, great multitaskers, but the reality is you're just task switching, and we lose 40% of productivity to task switching. Right? So if you instead right? This is the cost of multitasking. But if you did one thing at a time, you would be so much more productive in your day. And guess what else will make you productive? Using a word more often that I know you're not using enough. Mastering the art of the unapologetic no. I don't know how many of you are parents here, but when my daughter was 4, she came home from her preschool and she said, "Mommy, I put on a show today and nobody was there." Right? I wasn't there for her because we had a pitch, a big meeting. And my boss came to me and she said, "I understand you missed your daughter's performance. I'm going to teach you how to never miss anything again." And she trained me in the art of mastering the unapologetic no without ever using that word. I know we're uncomfortable with it. As women, we're trained to please and take care of everyone. But as my mother says, if you're not full, you have nothing to give. Right? So you want to make sure that you're not depleted. Who else struggles with this little 2-letter word? Right? Who else struggles with this? The reality is there is a way to do it. So let's take a peek. It's called a generous no, or how to say no with love. You give someone a positive response, you decline the request, and then maybe you even offer an alternate solution. So for example, if your boss says you've been working on a brief that's due, your manager doesn't know that, and they ask you if you can create some new templates. How to say no with love, positive response. Those templates seem like a great project, but decline, I have another commitment right now. And the alternate solution, can I help you find someone else who can do that? Right? So I'd love to, but I have a commitment. You never say what the thing is, because if I would have said, I can't come to the pitch meeting, my daughter has a show, someone else might have had a judgment about that. So we just say, I'd love to, but I have another commitment. Let me see if I can find someone else who can. So how could you say no this way? Maybe somebody asked you to help them move into their 5-story walk-up apartment. No, thank you. I'd love to, but I have a commitment. Let me see if I can find someone else who can. But you may not even have to offer the alternate solution. I'd love to, but I have a commitment. That's it. Right? So much power in that. And then finally, how many of you put off the things that are important because we're scared or we're tired or we're busy? Right? I want to give you the single most powerful tip that I have for overcoming procrastination, if you can see my little rocket ship here. Because only the disciplined ones in life are free. This is the fastest runner in the world, Eliud Kipchoge. He says, otherwise we're swayed to our feelings and our moods and our, what I call our I don't feel like it's. The IDFLIs, I don't feel like it. But I didn't ask you how you feel. I asked you what you want. And if there's something that's important to you, I want you to be able to fight back with science and do the thing. Because action precedes emotion. If you're waiting to feel like it, you're going to be waiting a long time, right? I would rather you do the thing and then feel real good about that. So a science-backed way to get into action. Look at this lady go. Mel Robbins designed something called the 5-second rule. And this is the last thing I want to share with you today. She started a company with her husband, and it failed. They lost all their money. And so she was lying in bed and could not get out for about a month. And then finally she said, I gotta get back into life here. And she said, I think I'll count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to go. And what she realized later is that in counting backward from 5, we close the gap between our intentions and our actions, because in between that is excuses and nonsense and fear. And so I have this little rocket ship that when I push it down and it comes back in 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that is how much time I have. That's how much time you have to move in action with no excuses. The reality is, if you manage these 3 things, priorities, what's important now, productivity, stop the task switching, get more comfortable with that beautiful word no, right? I'd love to, but I have a commitment. And then finally, overcoming procrastination, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And you can manage your time and you will have enough. So in wrapping up, what is your better response next time someone asks you, how are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing what I love. And if you still have to use the B word, I'm busy doing what is most important. Every day, the world will grab you by the hand, yelling, this is important, and this, and this, and this. You need to worry about this and this thing over here. And it is up to you to grab your hand back, put it on your heart, and say, no, this is what's most important. And so I invite you now to think about one thing that you will do differently. Let me see if I can find you back here. Awesome. To invite you, one thing that you want to do differently. You gave me your time, and I'm so grateful for that. And I want you to be changed because of it. And so as you move into the rest of your day or evening, think about how you want to level up. Think about one thing you want to say no to and identify what's important now. Thank you. I want to pause here to see if there are comments, questions. Yeah. Hello. It's so good to see your name, your faces. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you so much, Maureen, for the wonderful presentation. So we have taken some key points from your presentation, like marveling at your ability to seamlessly navigate through various topics during your talk. So you truly captivate the audience with your engaging delivery, insightful content, and impressive multitasking. So, so your presentation skills are like commendable. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation, sharing with the Win Virtual Summit 2024. So, Shruti, do you have a question for Maureen?
Yes, I do have. What a wonderful presentation, and when to say no. That point captivated me. The question here from our audience, we have got multiple questions, but I'm asking you one important thing: how to say no, and more importantly, when to say no. I mean, when is the barrier you should actually say no because you are not comfortable over there.
Okay, that is such a great question. How do we know when to say no? One of the reasons that we move into yes so quickly is that we haven't slowed it down. We don't honor ourselves and even just count to 3 and say, is this something that I want to do? Is it aligned with my priorities and my values? Right? Will we both win, so to speak, if I say yes to this thing? And so with many women that I'm coaching, just count to 3. Anytime someone asks you to do anything, whether it's work or children or your partner or spouse or your friend, slow down that yes, hold the request. I don't know if I mean literally, but hold on to it for a moment and look at it and say, is this aligned with my joy, my goals, my values? Do we both win? But I find, especially for women, just slow it down a little bit and your instincts will kick in. And now you have the second part, which is the tool to say no without using that word. You hold it and you say, you know what? It isn't. And if I say yes to you, I'm going to have to say no to me. This is your mindset. And so you move into the, I'd love to, but I have a commitment, the generous no.
Very well answered, Dr. Maureen Falvey. Yeah, it was a wonderful presentation throughout. I hope our, you got a lot of accolades as well here. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of the sessions. Okay.
Thank you. Take care of yourselves, everyone. I'll be holding right here till I see you again. Thank you.
We would also request all the speakers. We are having a physical event on March 8th, International Women's Day in Paris, France. We will be, airing that over all our social media platforms. Please join and please support us. You can also communicate with the speakers, from the Zoom session. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Keep you up towards the midnight.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye. Please join the next session, Dawn Shane. Yeah, she's available. Let's join her session and let's see what she has with her. Dawn Shane is the next session. Please join over there. Thank you.